Today I'm going to make a simple and easy kolache. We're going to begin with our liquid ingredients. I have here 10 tablespoonfuls of melted butter. To that I'm going to add 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks. And 1 cup of whole milk. Give that a good mix. Now if your eggs are at room temperature, they will mix much easier and more rapid than they will if they're still cold. To my mixing bowl here, I'm going to add 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. 1/3 cup of sugar. 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Two and 1/4 teaspoon of active yeast. I'm going to gradually, just very slowly, kind of mix that together. And then I'm going to add my egg and milk mixture. And we're going to let this mix on low about 1 minute until it begins to get all of the flour incorporated. And then I will turn it up on a medium, and I'm going to let it knead this for around 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, as you can see, it has come away from the sides, and it has been like this for a little while. It's picked up all the flour and all the dough and mixed that together, and once it gets like that, you are ready then to take it out. It's a sticky dough, so you're going to see as you mix and work with this how sticky that is. I'm going to take this out and put it into a greased bowl. Cover it with saran wrap. And put it into my oven. Now I have a bread proofer on my oven, so I'm just going to turn that on, and I will leave it until this doubles in size. If you do not have a bread proof for your oven, you can turn it on. You leave the oven off, but you take 3 cups of boiling water and place in the oven with your bread, and it will work just as well. Okay, we're going to make the filling for our little yeasty dough. I have in here 3/4 of a 8-ounce, which would be 6 ounces of softened cream cheese. To that I'm going to add 3/4 cup of ricotta cheese. Now if you don't use ricotta, you can use 3/4 cup of whole milk. And I'm going to slightly blend that. Okay, I have that blended together. I'm going to add now 3 tablespoonfuls of sugar. 1 tablespoonful of all-purpose flour, and half a teaspoon of lemon zest. And now we're going to put that on high and blend it well. Okay, and we now have that blended to where that it's nice and smooth. I'm going to set this back, and when our bread comes out of the oven, then we'll have that ready. Okay, it is time now to get our bread out of the oven, and as you can see, it has doubled in size. I'm going to put that out onto a lightly greased area. Knead that down just a little bit. It feels very light, a very light dough. And we're going to make that into a nice round little ball. And we're going to cut that into 4 pieces, trying to get them just as even as we can. Take those 4 pieces, make them into little balls. And then we're going to cut those into 4 pieces. And then we're going to take each of those and we're going to push those edges under and make a nice little ball out of it. It's very pliable, so this is easy to do. Get them a nice little ball. Put them on a baking sheet. I have lined this one with parchment paper. Once you get those, you need to give them plenty of room because they will spread out, and they spread out quite a bit. You want the top nice and smooth, so keep turning it under until you get that nice smooth top. We're only going to put 6 or 8 on each cookie sheet, so I have 2 cookie sheets. I have gotten all of them shaped, and I'm going to put plastic wrap back over these now and put them back into the oven to bread proof and raise for at least 90 minutes. Okay, our 90 minutes has been up, and as you can see, they've spread out just a little bit and kind of flattened on the top. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to put what I have here is a 1/3 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to put a little flour on the bottom of that, and then I'm just going to put a little indentation right in the top of each one of these. You want it to go down far enough to where that it looks like a little pond, and I'm going to do that on all of these. Okay, there we go. Now then, I have here 1 beaten egg, and to that I'm going to add 1 tablespoonful of milk. This does nothing at all for the flavor, but what it will do is help these little things brown, and it makes them nice and kind of crispy on top. Now, don't put a lot, just enough to kind of coat all over. Okay. I now have my cream cheese and ricotta here that I'd mixed together earlier. I'm going to mix that up just a little bit more. It's been in the refrigerator. So we have your cream cheese, unless you just really have it soft, it's going to leave a few lumps in there, but that's going to be alright because we're going to bake it. Take about a good tablespoonful and put right in the center of each one of these little holes that we've made. We've made a little well. Just put it right in there. Okay, and there we've finished them all off. Scrape that out, and if you've got any that looks like they could use just a little more, dab that in there. We don't want to lose a drop. Now these are really easy to make. What makes it difficult and that you might not like is just, it is very time consuming. We now have a sprinkle that we have to put on top of it, and for that it only takes 3 items. It takes
2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of flour, and 1 tablespoon of butter cut into 8 pieces, very chilled and cold.
And I'm just going to use my hands and mix that together. This is a strudel type topping. I want you to know that was the only part that Michael helped with, but he'll be Johnny on the spot to help eat these up, I bet. Okay, we have that all mixed up. You could use a fork or a pastry thing if you wanted to, but to me it's just easier to use your fingers. Now we're going to sprinkle this around on just on the edges. We do not want it to go over where we have our cream cheese filling there. Okay, we have put the streusel all over it. If some gets in between here, that's all right. It won't hurt anything. I'm going to put this in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, let's take those out. See what a nice little golden brown they are. Nice. We're going to let these cool about 20 minutes and then we're going to eat one.